What's up, guys? Welcome to Common Sense Trucking. My name is Ethan Jennings. To give you a little introduction here, what we're going to be doing on the channel, I work with a company called Cowboy Transportation Services. We're out of Amity, Arkansas. We are a 100% owner-operator, 100% flatbed carrier. So a lot of what we do here is going to be kind of geared around that, but it is going to go for pretty much everyone, every mode, company drivers, owner-operators under their own authority. We're going to be kind of working on this information that's going to be a blanket for everyone, right? So I'm going to go over kind of what we're going to do in the coming videos here. And I want a lot of our videos, if we do start getting some traction on these, make some comments, some stuff that I may have kind of forgotten to put on the list here and to put in these videos, make a comment and let me know what I forgot. To give you a little background with us, I work directly under the owners here at Cowboy. They've been in the business for about 30 years now. We're not new. Cowboy's been around for about 10 years. We're not a brand new startup that started up during COVID, or a lot of these companies that are kind of just entering the game here. This channel's not going to be a commercial for our company. Just kind of wanted to give you some background on where this information is stemming from. What we're going to be doing is talking about some of the things that the office side of these companies, that a lot of companies kind of gatekeep a lot of this information and act like it's a secret. We really don't know why, because it's not really benefiting anyone to keep this stuff a secret. But this is a lot of the questions that a lot of our guys ask us, that that they say, man, we've asked this on, with previous companies we released onto, that they just wouldn't tell us. They just acted like maybe we couldn't understand it, or maybe we shouldn't know. And that's just not the case here. We're an open book, right? So like I said, I just want to give you a little introduction there and then go over some of the things that we're going to be talking about in these coming videos. A lot of it's going to be some simple stuff, some market updates. We're going to talk about some job hopping, guys looking for greener pastures that we see a lot in trucking, whether that be for company drivers or owner ops. You see it a lot in trucking, and I want to talk a little bit about that, kind of where that always ends up, right? Leasing on with carriers with asset trucks. We're going to talk about that a little bit. That's another one I see a lot of when guys come over to Cowboy. Leasing on with carriers that don't really have a customer base, that are working strictly with brokers, and kind of what to expect. Honesty within the company you're with. Again, this is going back to a lot of guys asking questions that they're not getting answers to. Honesty when you ask, somebody in that office, whether it be your dispatcher, whether it be an operations director or manager or supervisor or the owner, these questions, that you have, most of the time it shouldn't be a secret, but it's treated as one, so we're going to talk about that and hopefully answer a lot of those questions. We're going to talk about these companies that, especially right now and after this last year, we see a lot of companies making promises on, what to earn, what you're going to earn, what your weekly gross is going to be, and we're going to talk about that too. I see that a lot here lately, and that's something we need to discuss. We're going to talk about differences between lease purchase trucks and dealership trucks. There are, benefits to having a lease purchase truck. We more lean guys towards a dealership if they can do it that route, and we're going to talk about a lot of guys that don't even know that that's an option for them, because we don't own the trucks that we lease to the guys. That's another one we're going to talk about. A lot of these companies, they own the trucks that they lease to their drivers. We don't agree with that, but we'll talk about that in the video. Lease companies, the lease company you lease onto works for you. You're not a company driver anymore. Most of you guys, you kind of cut your teeth in trucking as a company driver. You go buy a truck or lease a truck and trailer, and you go to lease on with a carrier, and they treat you just like you had been driving the last 10 years as a company guy. When you lease on with a company, you are the owner operator. We work for you. You don't work for us. I explain it to guys as, the percentage that you're paying, right, out of whether it be out of your gross or your line haul, which we'll talk about with line haul and fuel surcharges and things. You're essentially paying for a service. We're not taking money from you. You're paying us for a service. So we'll talk about what does that include? Does that include, general liability and cargo insurance, dispatching, obviously billing and payroll and things of that nature. These questions that you need to be asking a company when you go to lease on is, or if they're an 85-15 or if they're a 78-22 of line haul plus a surcharge, okay, well, what does that cover? What is that 15% going to cover specifically? Things that, again, these are questions that you need to be asking these companies before you lease on with them. Low pay breakdowns, right? So again, companies that do a percentage of gross to lease on with them versus companies that still pay a fuel surcharge. You don't see that as much anymore. So we're going to talk about that and why you don't see that as much anymore. Cowboy does pay a fuel surcharge, so I'm not against that. I'm actually very, very pro fuel surcharge to be paid to the truck. But we're going to talk about why you don't see that as often as you used to. So we'll talk that. We'll talk again, what does that percentage cover, and what you're getting for your money, right? Again, how to be a business owner now. If you're a company guy that's just getting into your own truck as an owner operator, you're still a driver, but now you're a truck driver second, right? So you're a business owner first. So learning how to navigate your finances a little bit and what to account for, taxes, business setups. We're not going to get too deep in the weeds, as far as how to set your business up and things of that nature. That's, I'll just tell you to find a really good accountant. But what to do after that accountant gets you set up, how to manage those finances a little bit. It's not just get a paycheck and move on anymore, right? So again, running a business, not just driving anymore, it's running a business. Another big one, that a lot of folks like to talk about, a lot of guys don't. We're going to talk about brokers a little bit. There's probably 1 million videos here on YouTube about brokers. We're going to keep it simple and just talk about how there are some good brokers out there that do take care of some guys. There's a lot of bad ones. There's a lot of good ones. Developing those relationships. That goes back to these carriers that don't have a customer base, right? So finding a carrier that is kind of looks at it the old school way of doing things, the customer outbound, broker inbound, and make a turn out of it and keep a truck moving. We're going to talk about that, right? So a big one that I've been doing a lot here lately, we're summertime, flatbeds, kind of in full peak season right now. Guys are getting really busy or staying really busy. Shop time starts happening. Simple stuff with tires and brakes all the way up to, wheel seals, and then going up to like front main seals and rear main seals and clutches and things of that nature. We're going to talk about that. A lot of guys look at shop time as what's the bill going to cost, when in reality we need to be looking at lost revenue, not what the bill's going to cost, right? So whatever that shop bill is, most of the time it's a far less than what you lost by not driving while the truck was in the shop. So things like that, we're going to talk about how to estimate that, right? And how to work around that. Again, that goes back to overall finances too. That goes back to managing your money and how much should you have set back. We've after years of doing this, we kind of have a pretty good idea of what you need to have set back allotted for certain things. And once you get to that point, should you keep saving, or should you start putting that money into other avenues to start seeing some residual income coming in that you're not having to work as hard for, right? So again, this is some stuff that we're going to talk about. And then we're going to go to, we'll do some simple stuff on the different modes, the differences between them. But a lot of you guys already know that, and there's a million videos already about that. This is going to be more geared towards the things that people aren't telling you, the questions that you want to ask that are either maybe too scared to ask, or that you're just not getting the answers that you want to get, or you feel like it's not, a truly honest answer. This is what we're going to talk about here. And like I said, I want some interaction on these videos, even on this first video. If there's something that I didn't cover in this, in this little introduction here that you want to see in these coming videos, I really want to go over that and talk about that, because again, we look at knowledge as power, right? So again, a lot of these companies aren't telling these drivers, the answers to these questions, and keeping a lot of this stuff a secret, where we look at, we want our guys to go out there and know what they're talking about, have that knowledge, and be able to walk with confidence. And when talking to some shippers that we haul out of, and, have that confidence and that knowledge that makes us look good as a company as well. So like I said, if there's anything that I don't talk about on these videos, please interact with them and tell me. We'll probably bring a couple of drivers on, as these videos start, a couple of our guys that, we can talk side by side here on a video and go over again some things that we're not going to go over just you and I, sitting here like we are now. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll get this moving, and I hope it's going to really be beneficial to a lot of you guys out there on the road. So like I said, I'm looking forward to it, and we'll go from there.